Hello, this is Victor at TheStoryMercedes.com, and today I'm going to make a video about how to remove throttle bodies on V12, which is actually easier than V8s. I just started the process, so I'm gonna make kind of like a little choppy video because I really have to get moving over here. Now, the first things first, as you can see, the air cleaner is removed. Just easier to work without air cleaner. So what I'm going to show you, I mean, it's pretty straightforward actually. So I'm going to show on the other side, because I'll be making a couple of pauses here, because one-hand operation is not easy. Anyway, to remove, well, first off, you have to be very careful with these wires. These are mass airflows. They will fail if you're going to twist and bend them a lot. So, come on. So what you want to do is, you want to remove this thing right here. Just spins right like such, and then try to just leave it and not to really disturb it much, because wires inside are very brittle and they will break. They just the same insulation as you find on throttle body. So to make it easier, I'll just remove the boot. I'll take the screws out. Then you want to unclip these two clips, and then push it in. That's how I do it. It is preferred to have vehicle a little bit warmer, so all of these pipes, they're a little more pliable. In this case, it's summertime, so it is quite warm in here. And as you can see, it doesn't want to release, because this thing did not release. Again, with one hand it's not easy to really work, but okay. Now this boot is about $150, so you do not really want to mess with it too much. Try to like pry it a little bit, just don't really force it a lot. So I just broke this loose, I believe. Yes, there. And of course, everything else, mass airflows, everything's expensive. It's V12, so you might as well be careful. So I'm just gonna prop it a little bit on this side, if I may. And it's not coming off. This has been here for a long time. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Come on. Alright, let me try to spin it maybe a little bit. No. Okay then, so we're gonna take a little thinner screwdriver and try to run it around. On this side, you don't really have to even remove air cleaner. I did it on the other side. So I'm gonna try to work it a little bit, because again, it's $150 for the boot that can't be reused, so might as well not to break it. Okay. Alright, so here it comes. Yeah, little scratches here and there, but better than buying a new boot. Alright, there it goes. There it moves now. So it should come right off now at this point. And that's what it does. Now, again, don't bend it too much so you don't break it, so it's totally reusable. Again, car, it would be nice to have engine a little warm. And then you remove this little vacuum tube. Mass airflow connector is under this cover right here, so it's already free. Well, to get this completely free, you have to undo the cover on this side. So just take off two screws, remove these two. Okay, so raise it up a little bit, and then you can remove this cover. Let it be. This is a really nice workbench, so I'll keep it back there. Connector, you latch it up from here and undo the throttle body connector. It might be very tight in there, so you might want to even use some pliers here. You can wiggle it like I just did, and it works out. So somebody was here, because there's a little piece missing to hold this valve. Anyway, now another thing is basically it's almost there. We almost got this off, to be honest with you, but there is a little circlip over there, so that is kind of a drag. I mean, I just take it with my fingers, and to break that loose is sort of difficult. Now I would try to do with the screwdriver. It's a little pry bar that should really do the trick. Short screwdriver will be of course better, so you can feed it right under that tube. So this tube you can at least access. There it goes. Just pull it down. Now do not move it too much, because over here, see, that's what happens. Over there's some piece of plastic that holds this tube. Now they all break, they're all broken because it's just plastic, and this tube goes all the way under the intake and it connects to the breather tube. Not really fun to reattach it later, so do not move this too much. Now next thing we'll do is we're just gonna attach my socket. This is the passenger side, this is the easier one. I'll put this one right here. I'll get my little extension here. Okay, so obviously you do not want to strip bolts, so that's a stubborn one. Okay, so if the power tool doesn't work, then you have to use manpower. Again, with one hand it's not really super easy, but I'll do it. So just get my ratchet over here, because video is limited in time. I might have to make 2 sections. This is too tight. Loosen up. And obviously this is straightforward. Just break it loose and remove the throttle body itself. Let's do this one. This is the this is a cell model, so space is a little limited on this one, but on the S class right there, it's almost the same. So it's very similar. Both cars are very similar. I'll get to that in a minute, but for the SL and CLs, they do have fuel line arrangement a little different. Whereas on CL, you don't really have to do anything with fuel lines. On the SL, I mean, on the S class, S600, you would have to move fuel lines. They will be kind of in the way. So I usually disconnect them so they're out of the way. Once we get to the driver's side unit, I'll show you. On the SL, you do not really have to move fuel lines, because as you can see, fuel lines are away from the throttle, so they're not really there. So we're taking screws out right now. I'm doing that, and of course I lose stuff, because again, one hand is not easy. Holding the cell phone, actually I'm making it with the cell phone. So okay, and now sometimes they stick to the intake manifold. The gasket is under. I recommend replacing it. Sometimes they come out really clean, so you might reuse it. I mean, I reused my gaskets because they were perfect. And yeah, this is really stuck on this. Okay, there goes. All right. Now the gasket is on the intake manifold in bad shape, so definitely to be replaced, because you see it ripped. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to replace the gasket. Sometimes they come out really clean, so you might have luck with removing it being super clean. Now this particular unit, going back to the driver's side now, if you look at the arrangement, this is the SL. Fuel lines go that way, so they're not really in the way. The linkages, I probably will do even without removing linkages. But on the S class, you do have this wiring channel here. As you can see, it's in the way, but you can flip it. You can remove it, you can flip it like such to get to those springs in the back there. just don't break clips too much. They always break. So these are already broken before me, so I can just pull it up and it'll come right off. But the access points are like on the bottom here, so they just get on this little clip. So if you want to do this correctly, you want to remove these screws on the S-Class. See these screws, so the whole assembly will come up with brackets attached. You will just nail it back down. There is an intermediate piece right here. There's also a screw under, but then you would have to remove the whole cowl. Over here you can just get to them if you wish to make life easier, because this is just kind of tight in there. It's just like there's not much space to get your hands in. Fuel lines, as you can see, they're right on top of the throttle body, so you might want to undo fuel lines if you wish. That makes it easier, much easier. It's doable without removing the fuel lines, without removing the linkage, but it's just on the S-Class you would want to actually do this. You want to move this around so you get access to the side, and remove the linkage. This is what happens with the broken boots. As you can see, there are cracks on boots in that boot right in that area over there. So I have replacement boots for this customer, so that's good to go. So that's what you want to do on the S-Class. So going back to our project here on the SL, however, the throttle body wire itself goes around, so you would just undo all these plastics here, open it up, get this off, get the wire, and then undo the clip, pull this out. There it goes, it's free now. Then you'll raise it up and just feed it out. On the S-Class, the wire is attached to the frame here. So SL is easier to do. Then we'll just proceed with this particular unit, because that's what I'm working on right now on this. So it would be nice to undo these pipes because they're sort of in the way. So just to make life a little easier, and I'm probably gonna undo the whole valve if I can, because with one hand I doubt I can get these pipes separated. Try again. Okay, so here pipes separated, valve, vacuum line, second vacuum line. So now you can basically just move all these things out the way a little bit. Come on now. Here, obviously don't break them. So they go under. Now what I wanted to show, so you don't want to break these lines, they go under deep, so it's kind of difficult to get to. Now this unit right here has linkage to it. As you can see, there's a spring over there, there's a little linkage over here. So the way I do it is, it basically depends. Right now with one hand it's gonna be harder, but if you would remove a couple of screws here, this whole linkage will come off, so you will have better access. I'll do without. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get to that spring, I'm gonna pull it up with my fingers, and I'll do it off the little groove there. So I'm gonna try to do right now. Just go deep in there, grab the spring and undo it. Spring is undone. To install it back, basically gonna have to catch the spring and just push it on top of that thing. Spring is done, and now we have to do the linkage itself. So here's the linkage right there. So you will just put a screwdriver on it and undo the linkage. Now to put it back together, I mean, it's basically reverse procedure. It's just a couple of little tricks, but nothing to really worry about. It's not really that terrible. As you can see, when I push on that, the whole linkage moves because it attaches underneath. Now the fun part is the pipe. There's a second pipe that goes under. So if I may do this, maybe I'll get the shot from underneath somehow. If you can see, if I can see myself, just to show you. Here is that metal pipe. That hold on a second. That pipe where my finger is, if you can see it. Where's my finger? Where's my finger, huh? What do I do with my finger?
Alright, so here, right there, that pipe right behind the linkage, that pipe right there. So this one sits. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Oh man, I can't really see. That's not the pipe. The pipe sits right here actually. I'm trying to get the shots from under. Okay, maybe I'll go this way. That was a jar tube. This is the pipe. Yeah. Right here. Where's my finger? Right here. See? There's a clip under. So it's kind of no fun to get this thing off because you have the actual spring right here that you have to undo. It's a spring clip. Now probably what I'm gonna do with this one is I am going to come on, focus now. Really now? Really? Will you focus, please? Can't believe this phone is supposed to be a better phone, but it's not really focusing. I don't know. I just got it, so I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to put my finger in there. I'm gonna try to move that the retainer if I can, and I cannot, of course. So then the second option would be to remove the throttle first and try to wiggle it off. Again, we do not want to break the metal pipe off its holder because that's going to create a lot of problems. There are special tools available to undo these kind of clips, dual clips. My fingers are hurting because it's very tight. So let's try to remove the throttle body now, and then we'll try to get to that very pipe. But again, you have to use utmost caution. You have to be very cautious about that metal hose, the metal pipe that goes off that rubber piece. Otherwise, you're just basically going to disconnect it, and then it's kind of a problem to get it hooked up again. And your idle is going to fluctuate, and you won't know what happened. So obviously not a good thing. Alright, so just put my tools right somewhere here, so let's just get this off. I'll do it by hand because once you break them loose they usually go easy. So let's just get this done. Again, I don't know when this video is going to end. Again, there's limitation to videos, so it's 17 minutes by now. Okay, so we'll take the bolts, put them this way. And this is basically like half of a job because you're gonna have to clean after you remove the throttles. You might clean intake a little bit when you can reach it because there's gonna be lots of oil inside. You know, stuff like that. Here I just remove the intake manifold, the intake air duct. So it's just like I have a little more room here, so I was gonna make that shot to show you the picture of that tube, but it didn't work out. So anyway, you don't really have to remove this if you don't want to. I just do it because it's like a few seconds. This throttle body is coming off, I think, clean with gasket attached to it. Now this is the last bolt, so obviously at this point it's going to be free, so it's going to hang on that pipe. So right now, let me see if I can put the phone down. Oh, by the way, the wires inside the throttle body, that's what I'm doing. Actually, this is a very interesting problem here. These are the wires in this unit. Same basically on the other side. Okay, so now let's see if I can set the phone down so it keeps recording while I'm trying to do something here with this. Alright, I guess this is gonna be my best bet. So raising the throttle body and turning this throttle body this way, what we see is we do see that pipe attached on the bottom. It's right over here, right here. So right now it's on the rubber junction, but again, if you see, this whole pipe moves, so you do not really move it too much. Again, like I said earlier,
So from here we have a little bit of an axis, whereas that I can basically try to either move it around. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Try to kind of like move it so I can grab it with maybe long needle noses or something. On S classes, for some reason, I don't find these things. They don't have clips on this side. Only have a clip, the circular clip, only on passenger side. On SLs, yeah, you do find them. I don't know why. Yeah, maybe I can try to remove it from this junction, because it's with one hand. I mean, I can't really do much. Let me try to remove it from the other side. Here we're gonna use a little longer pry bar. Hopefully I'll get it off. Again, just prop it off something. Because to put it back is gonna be kind of a challenge as well. But I'm trying to get this thing off, but the camera is not really picking it up. No, I'm gonna have to. I mean, it's moving a little bit, but I don't want to go too crazy. Yeah. Well, there's another option. I don't want to go through that option because that's kind of a violent option, and again, big chance of work like a doctor. I'm gonna look through the phone while trying to get that thing removed. Okay, so now we're gonna try to use needle noses. First I'm gonna try with this very not trustworthy vice grip, which is definitely not gonna work. I already see it. And again, I'm not showing the violent option. This is the right option. That's what you want to try to do. Just want to do this right. Violent option I would have been done by now, but come on. Just want to break it loose. There it goes. A little bit moved. Okay. Okay. This one I'm not going to reinstall. Okay, so now it moved a bit. Basically, this is okay. This is the violent option. I'm sorry. I mean, I can't deal with this no more. Just gotta go. This is the brutal option. Just breaking this thing off. All right, you know all my trade secrets now. Anyway, that you can always do. You're not gonna really break anything. But so here we have our unit here. Again, pardon my choppy video, but it's the best I can do. There was so much work. I've been up since 7 and it's like already 6:30. So now to get this out, you basically want to pull this plastic piece off, so it will give you more room. Then you can just slide it out. This one came out clean with the gasket, but you know, I'm gonna buy a gasket anyway, so I'll buy 2. They're cheap. So that's how it comes off. Now put them back here. I'm gonna rebuild them in a minute. Well, not in a minute, but now in terms of this pipe, going back to this is a pain. Like I said, do not try to be very careful not to move it too much, because if you pull the pipe too much, you're going to undo it all the way from behind over there somewhere. You have to. It's an epic job. So if you want to do the violent option, that's fine. So next thing what I'll do is basically remove the clip, because you're going to have to install it blind. You won't see it. So I'm just not gonna even install the clip. I mean, as a matter of fact, I mean, I can put it down a little bit down. Just use a wise grip, whatever I just grabbed. But as on the other side, most of them you can just do by fingers. Okay, this one is like stubborn, very, very tight. So I don't know, maybe this is not a lucky one, not a lucky charm. Again, that's all I could grab at the moment, just a wise grip. So here's our clip. Now reinstallation, just okay, so it's not gonna fly out. Reinstallation wise, so just basically If you want to reinstall it, that's fine. When you want to put it back, when they obviously do not have the pipe, what you're gonna do is when you're gonna align this thing. Okay, let's just assume that I'm putting it back. So when you align this thing like this, you see it. You see the pipe. Then from underneath, you put your hand underneath, and you can push it up. Or even better, what you can do is you can just work it in like such. You see, it just basically went on. If you do want to put the strap, that's going to probably be better, the strap clamp, because it's going to be easier to tighten. That is fine. Like I said, S-classes, I'm going to try to show you on that car right there. S-classes don't have these for some reason, SLs do. See, on the S-class, let's see if I can catch the pipe on this side. I already removed and reinstalled these units. So S-class, so you got clamp on the bottom, no clamp on top. Okay, that's that pipe on the passenger side. This is already a redone unit. On the driver's side, we're basically seeing nothing. You can't really see it. I was really going to show you if I can, but the pipe isn't visible from this angle. Well, anyway, I mean, it is there, trust me. This one has no clamp on either side, actually. So that's basically it. That's how you remove it. It's been like, what, 26 minutes. So that's pretty easy. Well, relatively, again, if you know what you're doing. So you can see on the S-Class, they have clamp over here, but no clamp on the throttle body side. Now, a couple of notes. This linkage doesn't really get stiff, doesn't stick really. This spring, obviously, you don't want to lose. That spring too, actually, because if you're gonna lose this return spring that goes on the throttle body, you might have an ASR light coming on because it does not return fast enough. So you do need it. Some people like, yeah, you know, I lose it and whatever. No, you do want it. I lost a spring when I was removing my throttle bodies in the woods 100 miles away from home because they failed, and I had to fix it, and I did it, but that's because I did not do the motors. Some people saying, well, you know, just do the throttles, do the wires. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the wires, but this is a good example why you have to also do motors. Inside there are motors that they get stuck. My own throttle bodies, I looked them up, I was like, yeah, okay, for now it'll be alright. And of course they failed after a year and about 100 miles away. So then obviously I had to do it. So yes, motors are very important. These two units, they both activate, except that this one does not move the throttle plate because the motor is stuck. So on top of wires problems. So I need to open up this unit, the motor. I mean, both will be done, but this particular one, I hope I can still fix it, because if I cannot, then that's it. It's just basically, there are no replacement motors, so you will have to either replace the throttle body or find another one where you can source the motor that's going to seize up anyway if you're not going to clean it. 20-year-old unit, it's going to happen. Okay, so to recoup, SL600, much easier to do. As you can see, I did it fairly quick. But of course, to reinstall it is a little more tricky. You gotta go there, you gotta clean up the surfaces. I basically just do wire brush them, intake a little bit, you clean. You gotta read codes and clear the codes and this and that. So this one you don't have to take the air cleaner out. The pipe is very, I mean, this wiring loom right here is very important not to bend too much. Just like I left it, that's how I'm going to leave it. So the S-Class, the only difference here we have is the fuel lines, the linkage, you probably want to take it away, and the wires that go across. Passenger side, straightforward. Driver side, that's the only difference, because you can't get to those springs and stuff. So you do probably want to remove all of this stuff so you have space here. Alright, so this is basically it. V12. Actually, what am I doing? I think camera is upside down. Jesus Christ. Okay, Victor here at RestoringMercedes.com. Thanks.